Gage Kumar here, crushbackpain.com. Today we're going to talk about core stability exercises. In the previous video, we talked about core stability, what it is, why it's important. Today we're going to cover some specific exercises. If this video helps you, leave me a thumbs up below, subscribe to the Crush Back Pain YouTube channel. Core stability exercises are especially important if you have lower back pain, because the more stable those lower lumbar levels are, the less they're going to hurt. It's that simple. The issue with core stability exercises is there's so many different ways to train the core, and there's so many exercises that train the core muscles that the options are endless. So people start doing all these different core stability exercises, and either their pain doesn't get better or it gets worse. The reason this happens, and a lot of times it gets worse, and the reason this happens is because people are doing core stability exercises that effectively train the core, but they put too much force through the lumbar tissues, particularly the discs and the facet joints. So if you're putting too much compressive force, too much shear force through those lumbar tissues with the exercises that you're doing, your pain's going to get worse or stay the same at the very least. So the key with core stability exercises is training the core muscles effectively with minimal load through the lumbar spine. And the three exercises that we're going to cover today fit that bill. They train the core muscles efficiently, effectively, with very low, minimal loading through the lumbar tissues, particularly the discs and the facet joints. The three exercises we're going to cover, you've probably seen before, you're probably familiar with. They're no big secret, but they've been studied extensively, and they've been shown to activate the core muscles, to train the core muscles with minimal load through the lumbar tissues, and that's the key. So think of these three exercises that we're going to cover today, think of these as the foundation to core stability. They're nothing fancy, and they're not difficult, but if done correctly and done precisely, they're actually a little bit harder than they look. So this is where you build your foundation. And then after you master these movements, you can progress to make these exercises, these movements more difficult, and then you can progress to higher level core stability training. But this is where you want to start, especially if you're having lower back issues. If you're having lower back pain, you want to start with these three drills. So the core is basically just this, it's a cylinder. It's a cylinder around your spinal column. So we want to train that entire cylinder, and these three exercises hit the front part of the core, the lateral side part of the core, and the posterior or back part of the core. So they address that entire cylinder. Also the glutes, they address the glutes where they tie in. And the glutes are important because they tie into that thoracolumbar fascia and help increase stiffness of the lower lumbar levels. So we're going to start with the trunk curl up. Super simple exercise, but it needs to be done perfectly. It needs to be done precisely. So with the trunk curl up, you're just laying on the ground, one knee's up, one's down. The reason we do this keeps the lower back in a more neutral position. Now, to start with, so you have automatic feedback, you're going to put your hands under your lumbar spine. That way you can feel that space under there. And literally, all you're going to do is tuck your chin and come up to about here, back down. It's that easy. Doesn't look like much. You're not going through a big range of motion, but the reason why is because if we come way up here, that lower back is going to round out into the surface. If you have a disc issue, if sitting, bending forward increases your lower back pain, you're literally just exacerbating the condition every time you come all the way up, because you're taking that spine, flexing it, flexing it, flexing it, and that's part of the problem. That's part of the reason it hurts. It's not flexion tolerant. So you want to work the anterior core without lumbar flexion. That's why you have your hands under there. So I can come up like this, and my lower back doesn't push into my hands at all. And that's what we want. Now you don't want your chin up like this, keep it tucked. I mean, this is literally all it is. Okay? Now, you could have your arms out here. You can have them up. You can have them back here, as long as you're not pulling your head way up. But I would start with them under your lower back, so you have that automatic feedback So you know if you're coming up too far and your lower back's pushing into your hands, you're doing the exercise wrong. You should come up and that lower back should not push into your hands at all. It's that simple. Now with this, as far as sets and reps go, I mean, there's a bunch of different ways you can break up the sets and reps. A good way to start is with 6, 4, 2. This way you work the muscles without becoming too fatigued and getting sloppy. So you do 6 reps, rest, 4 reps, rest, 2 reps, rest, and then you switch sides, put the leg that was down up, the leg that was up down, and then same thing, 6, rest, 4, rest, 2. So you're doing 12 reps without getting too fatigued, too sloppy. So that's the trunk curl up. The next one we're going to look at is the side bridge. This works the obliques, quadratus lumborum, pulls the glute med in some. So you're going to be on your side. Now if you have some shoulder issues, you can grab onto that shoulder with the other hand and kind of pull it in to stabilize it. But you want your elbow directly underneath your shoulder, knees are bent. You can either be here, you can be here, here. You just come up, back down. Now you can come straight up, or you can get some hip extension too and come up and forward. But you'll feel these muscles on the side that's down. So it's just simple side bridge. This is what it is. Simple exercise, but it works those lumbar stabilizers with minimal load through the discs and facet joints. So again, if you have some shoulder issues, you need to stabilize that shoulder, you can do it that way. As far as sets and reps go, I would do the same 6, rest, 4, rest, 2, rest, so you get in 12, and then switch sides, go to the other side, do the same thing. Now the last one's the bird dog. You've probably seen this exercise. It works the spinal extensors, works the glutes, which is what we want. So you're going to be on all fours. The key with this one, you get your lower back where it's comfortable. I like mine with a pretty substantial arch with that lordosis. So that's where my lower back feels good. Chin's tucked. Lock that in, and then you come out and back, and that's a rep. So you really reach out with your arm, reach out with that foot, come back. The key is this is stationary, so you're not here, it's not coming like this. This lower back is locked in. All the motion is through the shoulders and the hips. And sets and reps, 6, 4, 2, and then switch to the other side. That's a good place to start. Those 3 exercises are the foundation of a good, solid, effective core stability exercise program. Start with those, work on those for anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks, and then you'll progress those same exercises to make them more challenging. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how to do that. And then the video after that will show you some higher level core stability exercises. If you have any questions, drop me a line below. If this video helps you, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the Crush Back Pain YouTube channel, and check back regularly for proven methods to beat back pain.